How powerful are banned commander cards in 2026? That's what we're talking about today. We're continuing our series with Jeweled Lotus, a 0-mana artifact. Tap, sacrifice Jeweled Lotus, and add 3 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast your commander. A lot of people, they've always wanted to play Black Lotus, but they could never own one. Break open the reserve list, ban the reserve list so we can basically all play with Black Lotuses. And this was Wizards of the Coast solution. You can have a Black Lotus, but only for your commander. Man, this was actually... I didn't even get to play with this card for very long. Maybe... I mean, I guess it was in my deck for a year, but I only got to cast it, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. It was the closest I could get to actually feeling and experiencing power. Yeah, power the way Magic was meant to be played back in the Richard Garfield days. I'm not really going to defend this card that hard. You know, if everyone's commander wasn't like the soul of their deck, like there's too many commanders where the commander is just your deck. So having access to Black Lotus to cast the most important card that helps you win the game made it like probably a little too strong. I like this card though. I mean, hey, 4 players and you have access to like the super busted, you know, at a casual level, I should say. At a casual level, I really like this because you get to play your cards a little bit easier and more for free. At a competitive level, this is heinous. These cards are very broken. It's just literally Black Lotus at a more competitive level. So we have Steve Cooper says that's the easiest unban. That is not the easiest unban for me. I would love to see this card again. Ykill says Jeweled Lotus should be playable in CDH. Oh, of course it's playable. Who would go anywhere without their Jeweled Lotus? Not to mention, like, banning Jeweled Lotus also made my theoretical Urza deck significantly weaker. Corbinik says, Wizards of the Coast just wants us to have Black Lotus. It just also breaks their carefully crafted game. I know, we know, it's very hard to make a balanced Black Lotus. Maybe one day... Okay, how about this? One day they'll make 0-mana artifact. Like, I don't know, like Crystal Lotus or something like that. Tap, sacrifice Crystal Lotus, add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast your commander. But then, you know what? Maybe I'll break some Eldrazi commander because it's literally colorless. Or maybe we can sacrifice it for actual generic so they can't abuse it. Which they can anyway. It's called Commander. I'm going to use my commander, of course. That's the whole point of that's the whole point of the thing. Jeweled Lotus should be a common and 10 cents. Lotuses for all. No, I think the card is like above and beyond way too powerful to make it a common. Make it exile instead of sack, and I'm all for it. That probably doesn't change like the actual function of the card, right? It's still going to ramp your best cards super quickly. Well, if we can have Soul Ring, yeah, I mean that's maybe the argument for Jeweled Lotus. Now, as a competitive player, I prefer to have less fast mana in the format than to have more fast mana, because more fast mana just means more games that are won and lost super quickly. As a casual player, I love fast mana because I just want to be able to do things faster and just get my game going. So for that reason, I love Soul Ring. And Soul Ring is probably a lot more powerful than Jeweled Lotus because you get that 2 extra mana every single turn, not just a one-time deal. Ristic Lotus, do you pay the 1? To talk Nightmare, can't reprint the reserve list can't reprint Black Lotus due to the reserve list. Invents an entire game mode in order to print a workaround. That's right, and it worked. Well, it worked around it for as long as it could. Now, funny enough, this card is not useless. I mean, it's effectively useless. It's still legal in Legacy and Vintage. So how are we feeling about this card? I mean, this card is still powerful. I mean, Black Lotus is on the Power 9. They didn't call the Power 9 for nothing. This is a Black Lotus for the singular card that makes your deck your commander. Commander is the casuals format, though, no? Well, nothing. You know what? You could say Magic the Gathering in general was supposed to be a casual format. It was supposed to be just like a way to spend your time while doing other things at a convention while you're waiting in line. But of course, there are many people who will take it 1 degree further. Like, they have to take it seriously. So hence, Magic turned into a competitive game. And also, Commander also has its competitive crowd. Can't ignore the competitive crowd. Stopped by Vexing Bauble. We have more answers than ever before. Who the hell plays Vexing Bauble in Commander? That sounds rude. Turn 1 Vexing Bauble. No more lotus petals for you guys. Keep it banned for the long-term health of the game. Now remember, we got the bracket system. We could bracket it in. Like, does it contribute to turn 1 kills? I'm not entirely sure. Blinksomniac, they'll always make another Lotus in another MTG set. Maybe. I mean, they've been very careful about Lotuses. I mean, they might make like another Jeweled Lotus where they'll say like you can't play it until your 4th turn of the game. Because we already have like Lotus Bloom, right? And that's perfectly fine. If you have Black Lotus that's not on turn 1, 2, or 3, let's look at Lotus Bloom. We literally have Black Lotus, and this is a fair Black Lotus. It's been in the game for a long time. It's got Suspend 3. So what it's basically saying is, you don't have access to this card on turns 1, 2, and 3. You have access to it on turn 4. And I think the game has decided that this is fair. Like, you know what? If you do not ramp, you can ramp super hard on turn 4, but you have that turn 4 limit. Winter says there is some legacy combo where you can copy the mana gain, but not the requirement. It's really weird. Yeah, there is a legacy combo. I know of it. I don't know how it works. Mudasir, okay, but games that are decided by your starting hands aren't really that fun for 3 to 4 players. Well, that fun is very relative, isn't it? No, like I said, if someone's competitively playing with this card and they try to win on turns between 1 and 4, those are the people who like to play a lot of games in one night. Then of course there's the type of person who wants to play a game that lasts like 1.5 to 2 hours. I'm sure you're in that boat. Fan Factor says, can Wizards stop making mana artifacts? No, they're not. And we're gonna go back to Kaladesh one day, and they're gonna make more like mana artifacts. Now, some people, are complaining about my prior shows, like, why are we even discussing this stuff? There's an explanation for everything that's been banned. Okay, let's look at the mtgcommander.net their explanation for why Jeweled Lotus is banned. Jeweled Lotus accelerates big commanders, but also accelerates 4 to 5 mana commanders even more. And those have become increasingly powerful since 2020. So the commanders have been getting better since 2020, often drawing cards or otherwise yielding value. They offset the disadvantage of Lotus, which contributes to explosive starts which are difficult to catch up. So what they're basically saying is the old cost to Black Lotus is that you lost a card. It was card disadvantage. But because you're getting cards now with your commanders, I guess monocolorish commanders or commanders with a lot of generic mana, that it's not a downside to get this thing into play. It reminds me actually of the initiative mechanic. Whereas like in Legacy, they would like burn a bunch of resources to get this initiative creature in play. And then they didn't even really lose anything, because once you got the initiative creature in play, you like searched your deck out for a basic land, and then you would start drawing cards, and it was a big mess. Okay, Corbinek says, let me hypothetical Nikachu. Turn 1 Jeweled Lotus and a land. Winota comes down after turn 1 attack and win. Yes, well, I mean, I would say it danger. That's what I would say. That it danger. How often did that happen, actually? Winota comes down after turn 1. No, but you need to attack with something. Winota doesn't have haste. You need to attack with a bunch of other stuff. I know my Winotas. I've died to her millions of times. After making a show that doesn't use suggestions, Nikachu now makes a show that doesn't use discussion. We have you discuss away. You're allowed to discuss this whole discussion part. Fan Factor, there's many ways to make this balanced, make it cost 1 mana, make it only work for activated abilities as your commander. Well, now you're making it worthless. We made Jeweled Lotus become worth something amazing to something worth less, because now there's a lot of less stuff. Yeah, it needs a non-human in play, like Arboreal Grazer or something. I hate Winota, but no turn 1 wins. There's no such thing as a fair Black Lotus. It's either busted or unplayable. No. This Black Lotus. Where's the busted camp for this? This sees a lot of this has seen a lot of competitive play too. A lot of decks play Lotus Bloom because it is good, but it's not broken. Look, if you have no plan for this by turn 4, then your deck is doing something wrong. You have ample time to prepare for their combo or whatever they're trying to ramp into. Crawdaddy, I don't even think this is that great. Most commanders are multicolored. Well, the whole point is that this card will cast for its generic mana, right? The bracket system does not really work. How do you have a high 2 or low 3? You know, I'm not entirely sure. El Winter, why does it have to be 3 mana? Wouldn't 2 mana be enough? Yes, actually, it probably would be enough and would still be incredibly strong if you had even like a little mini Black Lotus. Hey, those suggestions better than it currently is. A 3-cent paperweight. This thing is like, you know, interestingly, I guess people are speculating that this thing's going to get unbanned. It's still really expensive. It's like at worst a $46 card. That's wild. I mean, I guess because we now have a bracket system, there's a chance. There's a chance they might unban it. Or there'll be like a no ban list commander set one day. Or mostly no ban commander. Just like Post Malone plays. He loves no ban list commander. It's only more than it because of the expectation it'll be unbanned someday if there was no chance it returns to pennies. I imagine there is some sort of nostalgic value to a card like this that might keep it around like $5, but I think you're completely right. The price is being anchored by the chance of an unbanning. And David Sampson does think it can come back as a game changer. Mana Crypt, I have my fingers crossed for, but probably not. Lotus Bloom also makes the proliferation decks laugh. Okay, turn 4, just win before turn 4. Exactly. You either win by turn 4 or you prevent your opponent from comboing off turn 4. The Lotus does need a cost of some sort to not be broken. 3 mana is too easy. Christopher B is back. I've noticed your absence, Christopher B. It goes by Avishkar now, not... Oh yeah, you're right. Thanks so much. I totally forgot about that. Are they going to errata the booster packs? Like it's literally still like set is literally still called isn't it called Kaladesh? I'm pretty sure it is. They need to set errata Avishkar. Oh no, I think did it turn into Avishkar? I don't remember how they adjusted the lore. People be speculating. Why is Oko's only safe home in Commander? Well, probably because Oko versus 1 player, very broken. Oko versus 3 players, probably not as broken. Oh my goodness, Christopher B. I hope you get better. You are very sick with a bunch of viruses. Oh, on all your devices. Gotta stop clicking those links. Those dangerous links, Christopher B. Can only watch from work, not respond. Don't want to get into the hell I'm through. Yeah. All right. You weren't sick. Your computer got sick. We're going one by one through the cards. This is definitely a discussion show. Okay, it sounds like... Okay, I still think Jeweled Lotus is still too broken. And actually, the explanation that commanders are only going to get more broken from here would suggest that probably it is still too powerful for 2026. Like, if black... If anything should be still too powerful for 2026, it's probably like the Black Lotus equivalent. Okay, we're gonna move on to Leovold. Unfortunately for your super chat, Blinksomniac, we did Iona, another show. It got super chatted. Thanks for the super chat though. You'll just have to look at the discussion of the last. I'm pretty sure we did Iona, right? I'm pretty sure we did Iona already. Oh, we did Iona because it's I. We're going down in alphabetical order. All right, Leovold, Emissary of Trest. It's a 3-mana 3/3 Elf Advisor. Each opponent can't draw more than one card each turn. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. That is such a frustrating effect. I really hate this. I really hate this crap where, like, okay, if I want to kill this, I give you value, so you actually don't lose anything. And it's any permanent, including Leovold. If it was other permanents, maybe it would be a little bit different. But it's like, it's anything, including Leovold. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability. Stop clicking ads for hot singles unless it's for FusionGamingOnline.com, which is coincidentally today's sponsor, as it's the sponsor every single day. My favorite sponsor, where I get my Magic the Gathering cards, including Commander cards. If you want to speculate on Jeweled Lotus, look no further than FusionGamingOnline.com. You can go get it, but you know what? It will be actually a lot cheaper for you than buying it for wholesale. I'll tell you why, because you can use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off all your purchases. And of course, it supports the channel. Speculate using coupon code Nikachu at checkout. All right, back to Leovold, the big baddie. Corbinick says we should shift the power focus back to instants and sorceries and depower creep the creatures. That's really hard to go back that direction, especially since they wanted to make the game more creature focused. And of course, Commander is all about being a creature. Like, the creature is the single most important thing of your deck. And they can only milk the game for more money if they keep making those creatures more and more powerful. But this was like way before even power creep existed. Like, how old is this? This was 2016. That was a whole decade ago. Oh my god. It's been a decade since Leovold has been printed. I feel too old now. Leovold is super annoying, but fine as a game changer. That's wild. Why do we need to power creep Narset? That's very funny you say that. This is before Narset. This predates Narset. Narset came out in 2019 in War of the Spark. Leovold is 2016 from Conspiracy Take the Crown. The Surefire Self says Leovold could be a game changer, but it's Narset in the command zone, essentially, where you just cast exactly, you get Windfall or Dark Deal, and suddenly your opponents are hellbent. So like, yeah, and blue has access to like Time Twister. So we have a few like wheel effects, Time Twister, Windfall, where you draw a bunch of cards. But in your opponent's case, they are not going to draw a bunch of cards. They're going to draw one card, and they are screwed. Elwinter says the card seems designed to be as frustrating as possible. Who thought this was a good idea? So, this is a good idea. Banned as Commander should come back. So Leovold may be powerful, may be fine if you can't bring it back. Banned as Commander. And you know what? Another thing is that Leovold is 3 colors, and it's 3 really important colors. You got black for the tutoring, you got green for tutoring, but also like I mean everything that green does, and then you got blue. It's like, if you don't have green, you don't have access to every powerful effect that you can get in Magic the Gathering. Titanic Nightmare, many creatures are enchantments too effectively. That said, means red gets buffed for being able to deal with them. What? A winner likes stronger creatures. The Ghost of Thomas Jenkins. Yeah, it's not too bad in the 99. It's just as a commander, it wouldn't fit perfectly. We can't go back to sorceries. Wizards of the Coast figured out that creatures with ETBs, and well, it's not even the ETBs, it's also cast triggers. It's like, what's better than ETBs to get around Torpor Orb? Oh, I know, cast triggers. We have cast triggers on all the Eldrazi and all the cards now. Fan Factory, have you ever done a show reviewing things that failed to kill Magic? No, actually. It's an interesting idea, though. Every year, people think Magic is dying. I almost agree with them right now. I wouldn't say Magic is dying. Commander is flourishing. Competitive Magic is dying. They've explicitly stated they're not banning as Commander. In the same announcement, they made Lutri only banned as Companion a few months ago. Well, but to be honest, Bolt, that is like the precedent that they could go back to banned as Commander. If there's one thing I've learned about Magic the Gathering is that they're flexible to do anything that they want at any time if they just feel like it. Like, they can say, we're never going to do this, and then they do it. We're never going to do this again, and then they go back. There is no one that goes back on their word more than Wizards of the Coast, or, like, I mean, I understand that this is not controlled by Wizards of the Coast. Well, it's now controlled by Wizards of the Coast, There used to be a Commander Rules Committee. But like anyway, so there's no one that goes back on their word more than Wizards of the Coast. The word is. You know why their word means nothing? Because management changes constantly. The people who are in control get changed enough by enough different people that those new people are like, you know what? We're gonna do things this way, and screw everyone who said, you know, who made a stance a long time ago. Corpo talk is soft. They are never as rigid as they pretend to be. Storm scale is the biggest example of that. Storm's meant to be 10, but there's like 5 storm cards in standard. Yeah, exactly. There we go. They brought Storm back in standard nonetheless. Wizards of the Coast, this is how we will do this from now on until we don't. That describes them perfectly. Have we had a show discussing reserve list callbacks? No, actually. That's a good idea. Maybe we should have some reserve list callback show. Oh, Winter, we need more stuff to deal with triggered and activated abilities. Yes! I cannot agree more, El Winter. I'm so frustrated by... I think it's... Triggered and activated abilities are way too free in this game. Way... And cast triggers on top of that. Titanic Nightmare. But you need 3 different colors of mana. It's not like mana fixing is easy for players to do. No, it's pretty easy. So, do people find this as actually... Yeah, I guess this is in the same... camp as why Hull Breacher got banned, right? It's just too easy to abuse with mass card draw effects where everybody draws cards, but not everyone is going to end up drawing cards. It's, you know, you would argue that the card would still be banned if it was in the 99. Like if, I mean, Hull Breacher might be like more of a gotcha type of card because it has flash, but I think that even if it was at sorcery speed, it would still be super powerful because you can set up turns where you're like Leovold plus Windfall on the same turn. I mean, it's just 6 mana anyway. It's not that much mana. No. You run stuff like Temple Bell to snuff out their first draw spell, and then you cast the Windfall to make them discard it. All right. Yeah, but you know someone's going to Cyclonic Rift Leovold in response. Will they? What if I'm the Cyclonic Rift player? To go back on your word more, you'd have to be a tech CEO or the American politician. Well, I mean, nothing beats the American politician. Or any politician for that matter. I played against a Rule 0 Leovold once, and they used stuff like Temple Bell to snuff out everyone's first draw, and they played Windfall. Very good stuff. Okay, well, let's see what the explanation is for Leovold. The explanation for Leovold here. Leovold, as a commander, creates an environment of asymmetrical resource denial in the early game. Its second ability protects itself and other resource-denying pieces in play. And its first ability easily combines with several other cards to strip opponents' hands and keep them empty. This creates an environment where players don't have agency, but doesn't outright end the game. So actually, they would actually don't mind. What they're telling us is they don't mind Leovold so long as it won the game immediately. But because you've got nothing in hand and you now just have to watch me win the game with my Leovold, it's a big feel-bad experience. So hold on, does that mean the card is fair? Are they trying to imply like Leovold is actually like fine, but it's a feel-bad card? Because that's what I got from the explanation. It's like, okay, it's going to create these environments where your opponents just feel bad for existing. None of these effects are banned in like one-on-one Magic. Nothing. I've been Narset, not Windfalled. I can't remember what they Narset Echo of Eons many times. He just wants to shake your hand. Fast and painful. Yeah, it very feel bad. It very feel bad. Leovold, Emissary of Trust. They want to expand design space for the color pie, give each color its own strengths in representing triggers. That's something they could do, I guess. Fan Factor says player can use it to grief one player. Well, they usually use it to grief like almost everybody. They grief everybody at once. Okay, I'm gathering from chat that actually you guys don't want this thing unbanned. Unless it was only banned as commander, which currently doesn't exist. So we're going to have to keep Leovold, Emissary of Trust banned. Still too powerful for 2026. Maybe just as powerful as it was before. Ooh, this is an interesting... Oh, man, I'm a huge stan for this card. Library of Alexandria. I will die on this hill that this card is fine. I don't understand people. So it's a land that taps for a colorless. Do we have like better versions of this card? I like the old art, but I don't like the templating. Tap for a colorless. Tap, draw a card. Activate only if you have exactly 7 cards in your hand. I find that this card, like, why can't we? Like I look at this card like this is a card everyone should have in their deck, like Soul Ring. Everyone should have this card in their deck. And it's slow. Like it's okay. Let's say you take your turn. You draw your card for your turn. You now have 8 cards. You play Library of Alexandria. You pass the turn, and then you're gonna tap it strictly to draw another card. Is that like a fast start? Like, isn't that like a super clunky start? A lot of people think that this is powerful, but power is not in the number of cards that are in your hand. Power is usually in the form of speed. And if you play with Library of Alexandria and try to maximize cards from early on in the game, well, then you don't have that speed. You got like no speed whatsoever. This card is fine. It's just money. It's banned for power reasons, or it's just the price. I think this is a card that was just banned in the beginning with all cards. I don't know if it was banned for price because like Time Twister, maybe Time Twister was cheaper. No, I don't think so. I think Library of Alexandria and Time Twister were probably on the same pricing scale when they made the ban list. But now this thing is quite expensive. One of the most expensive uncommons in the game. Feels bad is worse when you inflict on 3 people. Yes, of course. Okay, we have the Ghost of Thomas Jenkins. This is completely fine. I see zero issue. Well, I needed you whenever I keep promoting this card. Every single time I bring up Library of Alexandria, people are like, no, it's impossible. The price is going to go to $8,000. You don't understand, Nikachu. You don't understand how strong this card is. You're going to draw like an extra card every single turn over everybody else. But you're also sacrificing your mana, the very thing that actually makes the game the game. This is, I think this one is a price out ban. Come on, I don't like arguments like that because there's already a lot of outrageously expensive cards, like for example, Time Twister. And you can just proxy the thing. If you want to play with Time Twister, just proxy it. You want to play with Library of Alexandria, also proxy it. They also have some cool they have a Library of Alexandria in a alternate game. I can't remember what it's called, where you can own it. I think it's this image. There's another card game where they printed Library of Alexandria in it. And because they were printing it in another card game with a different card back, it was like effective. It was legal. It was legal to reprint. We need to reprint the reserve list in another card game with a different card back. It could look the same otherwise. We have Cracker Grit. Because of its price, not all of us have money like that. Who the hell doesn't proxy in 2026? Speed was a dumb mechanic. If price is the issue, print 1 million more of them. Well, unfortunately, the Library of Alexandria is in fact on the reserve list. It's a build around card. Unban it. It's on the reserve list and can't be reprinted. We'd be unbanning a card that can't be reprinted. The Magus version gets 0 play. Okay, this show is not about price. The show is how powerful are banned commander cards in 2026. It'll be interesting to see if the okay, let's go look at the explanation, people. Let's go look at the explanation. Is it just banned for price? Okay. Banned. Library was for a long time considered the 10th piece of power in vintage play. Like those, it was banned to avoid the perceived barrier to entry, but was strong enough to be a candidate for banning even without the optics, especially in long games where the card draw yields inevitability over time. Combined with its colorless nature, allowing it to go into every deck, and the occasional difficulty for inexperienced players to realize that Library is the reason they're losing, its place on the banned list is very secure. I think that explanation was garbage. I think Commander is decided strictly on the power level of speed more than anything, and also your ETBs. It's not strictly card advantage, which is what matters mostly in a one-on-one game, but not in a 3-on-1 game. You could have like a one-sided Howling Mine and get wailed on and still lose. Christopher B welcomes more speed. Well, I mean, the game's not going to get any slower, that's for sure. The Big Squig, the card was notoriously powerful in Magic early days. Yes, in one-on-one Magic. And just got hit with an EDH pre-ban. It's like how Bitter Blossom was banned day one in Modern. You're speaking my flute here. You're speaking from my my point of view. Why kill? Reprinting lowers price. Reprint Lord of Atlantis? Of course, well, reprinting will always lower the price, but this is a reserve list card, so they're not going to reprint it. Yes, this is a self-inflicted issue by MTG due to the reserve list. Even if we get a full Arabian Nights Universes Beyond, this will be reprinted. That's correct. This is a card that would need testing to see how good it would be. I mean, you could, but I doubt it would matter very much. Let's be done with the reserve list and play Magic, a PhD Garfield intended. I meant speed and mechanics. Oh, okay, that's fine. Signal also says, Magic just ain't like that anymore. It's really only a viable card in a slow format like old school. Most games today are over before you can play Library. Well, you can play Library early, but you'll be durdling around and drawing cards instead of like trying to compete with your opponents and all their speedy stuff. I think this card can get unbanned. It's not nearly as powerful as people think it is. I don't even know if it sees much play in Vintage anymore. Like, yeah, I would have to go look. I'm not a hardcore Vintage stan, but when I was looking for, when I played a little bit of Vintage, and I was like looking to see where does Library stand, like what's a Library deck, and I couldn't find many of them anyway. Oh, Library of I was like, when I look at LOA, I only know it as Lord of Atlantis, not Library of Alexandria. Okay, well, if you ever want to play with Library of Alexandria, you can always play it in Vintage when you're renting with Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards on Magic Online. My favorite platform for playing basically any paper format you could think imaginable, between Commander, Competitive Commander, One-on-One Commander, Standard, Modern, Pioneer, Legacy, Vintage, and you can play all the decks and formats when you rent with Mana Traders. You can support the show using coupon code Nikachu_Z4M for 40% cash back on your third month subscription. All right, next. What is the next card? We've got limited resources. I don't really have a good defense for this card. Limited resources is a white enchantment. When limited resources comes into play, each player chooses 5 lands he or she controls and sacrifices the rest. As long as there are 10 or more lands in play, players cannot play lands. Is there a single argument for keeping this card, or like for unbanning this card? Bold is like, absolutely not. Hell no. This might be the fastest discussion we ever had. Finn Grinder says Library is only not okay in Legacy for accessibility reasons. You know, I don't think that's the case. I mean, maybe it is the case in Legacy. It could be true, but like, there's a lot of like, because it would probably go in every deck in Legacy. It's quite a bit of a different beast. Bull is like, the first part is fine. The second part is not so much. Is the first part fine? Do we want 1-mana Armageddons in the game? I'm not entirely so sure. The Big Squig's like, feels like this is an AI generated Magic the Gathering card. Yeah, imagine reading this. 1-mana enchantment comes into play. Each player chooses 5 lands, and they control and then sacks the rest. As long as there are 10 or more lands in play, players cannot play lands. It literally reads like some sort of AI slop nonsense they would make right now. AI slop before AI slop came into existence. Play more Mana Rocks? We'd have to. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of games I play. No one has any actual lands in play. They just have artifacts and creatures. Yeah, why is it 1 mana too? Well, I mean, wait, you want to make it 5 mana? Then that implies that you have like 5 lands yourself. I mean, maybe that makes sense. Each player chooses 5 lands they control. As long as there are 10 or more lands in play, players cannot play lands. Oh, so like everyone can have 5 lands. So there could be 20 lands in play. It's just that if you play the suit... Yeah, so this should have been just much more expensive. If it was like white, 1 generic, then this card would be more fair. It would give people the opportunity to It would give people the opportunity to get like their mana base out. And if you have a stable mana base of like 4 or 5 lands, that's probably all you need. MTG is so fast now. Violent Beetle, looks like someone didn't think about accommodating greater than 2 players. No, not back in Exodus, that's for sure. Corbinix like, I wouldn't mind unbanning it.
No, God, please, no.
It would be better as an instant that self-exiles, though. No, but then it would be a completely different card. I think the punishing part of this card is that, like, once there are 10 lands in play, and let's say one player has 4 lands, so long as there are 10 lands in play, you can't play more lands. That's it. You're stuck. Some players will be stuck at 1 to 2 lands, and then no more. Steve Cooper says it's a miserable card. Cracker Grit. Can you turn pro before it resolves? If so, that be dirty. Can you? Oh, Teferi's Protection? Yes. Yeah, I think you can. You absolutely can. You would Teferi's Protection, all your stuff phases out, and then limited resources resolves, but then your lands would phase back in. Limited resources good in your masochist pod, in the masochist pods. Why kill? Lands are the biggest part of Magic. Do not F with the playing of lands. Keep it banned. Yeah, lands are very sacred to people. Violent Beetle, you can put lands onto the battlefield using effects. You just can't play lands from your hand as an action. Oh. Yeah, well, it says you cannot play lands. You can still, like... So, I guess a green deck playing with, like, Sylvan Scrying would still be able to... Like, any deck that ramps could play limited resources and screw over everybody else. Well, simultaneously screwing over everybody else. Art is cool. I'd at least give it that. Signal buffs Boros aggro for faster games, I guess. Does it? I mean, maybe? Oh, yeah, so they get onto the board real fast with very few resources, and they slam the limited resources to prevent people from curving out. The Ghost of Thomas Jenkins. It's an interesting card, but good God, that is oppressive in a 4-player game. The Big Squig. If any card deserves a cumulative upkeep, it's this. Oh my God, you're right. This looks like a cumulative upkeep card. When's our first look at the supers? Maybe Tuesday. If you're talking about the new Marvel set. I'm sort of waiting for the whole set to come out. Or maybe we'll start Monday. Tea-House, the green player can use this, and then Reclamation get all their lands back. I like land interaction, but this doesn't work as you'd want. Yeah, yeah, you are horribly in the minority, Corbinic. Horribly. This is so powerful. This is an unreasonable prison card in Commander. Let's see the explanation on the official Commander ban list. Limited resources. Limited resources is probably the easiest card on the ban list to justify. The easiest! Can't get easier than this. It does not scale with the number of players, so as early as turn 2, it effectively reads, players can't play any more lands on a 1-mana enchantment. Basically, yeah, no, you can't play any more lands. One of the fundamental resources of the game. Everyone complains about getting mana screwed, and this card will definitely screw you. Seriously though, protect the public land. That's true. Okay, and Bolt, the green-white player gets 5 lands, while the other players will get 2, 2, 1. Okay, still too powerful for 2026. Way too powerful. Next, ooh, this might be a debatable card. Mana Crypt. Mana Cryptid 2026. 0 mana artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, Mana Crypt deals 3 damage to you. I mean, it comes down, like, is this better than Soul Ring? Probably. I have to admit, I have died to Mana Crypt many times. I can't believe... And, you know what? The slower the game goes, the worse this gets. Like, if you're in a 10-turn game, this deals like 15 damage to you on average. So it's pretty, there is a cost to this card. There's many games where I'm like, I got to get rid of this Mana Crypt. Forget my opponents. I got to kill this Mana Crypt thing or I'm going to die. Where's my Tinker? Just so I can get it off the board. I could take it or leave it. So you're like, you're a fan of Mana Crypt. You like the fast mana. I think one thing that made... So Mana Crypt was one of those really debatable cards, or how do we put it? It was it was a very controversial ban, mostly because people like playing their stuff fast. Who wants to play land drop one land at a time to play your 8 mana cards? No, people want to play their 8 mana cards like really, really quickly so they can win really, really quickly. If we can't have limited resources, we shouldn't have this. Fan factor 1. Places don't give change anymore, so you have nothing to flip. Huh? Places. Huh? We have Crawdaddy with Luis Scott Vargas said this is the only card that can both win the something. These comments are a little empty here. Okay, David Sampson wants it back. Maybe you could make it like a game changer type of card. Okay, hold on. Craw says your games you shouldn't win and lose games you shouldn't lose. Oh, it makes you win games you should. Yeah, okay. So this is a card. You win games you shouldn't win because you got that initial mana. And then there are games where, you know, both players are just dirtling and doing nothing, and they end up losing the game because of mana crypt. You shouldn't have lost it. Well, then you shouldn't have played it in the first place. Oh, you want no coins. When people just roll a die. It just needs to be some random effect. Anything that's random. You open up your random number generator on your phone. Cracker Grit, do you think because of the death threats and hatred towards the commander panel that they don't unban it? Well, I mean, they could make it a game, like a super game changer, right? I don't know how much people, you know, the thing is the CDH community, they're sort of, at least the way I interpret it, they're happy that this fast mana is gone. Like Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypt, the games are more strategic now, and they're not as much of a crapshoot anymore. Jay Gross says the people who want to play it one land at a time is the kind of people who play with indestructible creatures equipped with World Slayer. Are they? The Big Squick, I think Soul Ring is too powerful. This is even better. Okay, that's probably the most direct. I think a lot of people would agree Soul Ring is just a staple of the format, but it is too powerful, arguably better than Jeweled Lotus. And it's pretty clear that if Soul Ring is too good, then Mana Crypt is also too good. But the Ghost of Thomas Jenkins says, yeah, I'm fine with this as a game changer. There is a risk to playing it. This is a funny card, though, that, like Soul Ring's not a game changer, right? So why is Mana Crypt a game changer? Which is, I want to say Soul Ring is better than this card, but I'm not entirely sure. I want to say Soul Ring is better. It costs 1 mana, not 0 mana. But it doesn't deal any damage to you. I mean, I guess it depends on the deck. 2026 version, flip a crypto. Can't you flip a crypto? Does that make sense? T-House, jeweled Mana Crypt. Losing the flip does 6 damage, and the 2 mana can only be used to cast your commander. And flip a coin when you crack it. Beefy Taco, Mana Crypt should not be unbanned because Soul Ring is unbanned. Soul Ring should be banned just as Mana Crypt is. And Corbinek says the card is 0 mana. Anything free is it danger. Okay, let's take a look at their explanation. See if it matches up with everybody else. How did we skip Lutri? Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt is an extremely powerful accelerant, which, if drawn in the first 2 turns, immediately moves its controller to mid-game spells. The drawback of losing 1.5 life per turn is not a significant deterrent in a game which ends within 5 to 6 turns and starts with 40 life. It is banned to lower the number of available mana-positive rocks in the first few turns, and in doing so, decrease the frequency of extremely fast starts. I honestly could not word it better myself. Mana Crypt is and should be hard banned. Soul Ring is $1 compared to the $80 anyone can afford a Soul Ring. Well, I mean, hey, there's a easy way to make Soul Ring expensive. Just make it a mythic rare from now on. That's it. Soul Ring is now mythic rare quality. Brad says, I lost the tournament game once to Mana Crypt. There we go. An explanation why it should not be banned. Oh, Lutri isn't banned anymore. That's why. That's why I don't see it on my list over here. Next, the Moxen. I don't know if there's any way. There's like no way I can support this thing unbanned. I think one of the greatest explanations I heard about unbanning the Moxen is 5-color decks get a way bigger advantage over, say, like decks that play, well, anything less than 5 colors. So if you're a Wooburg deck, you get Mox Emerald, Mox Jet, Mox Ruby, Mox Sapphire, and Mox Pearl. Whereas if you're a mono black deck, you only get Mox Jet, and then that's it. Jigra, what if they remade it and put an additional effect of sacrifice it if you lose the flip? Oh, maybe. Yeah, if it was a 50-50 thing, it'd probably be even more frustrating to play against. We got Brad. I lost a tournament game to Mana Crypt once. 7 consecutive losses on the call. That's very unlucky. But you know, at the same time, why didn't you win within that 7 turns? That was on you. Again, we can't have limited resources, so keep the Mox banned. Don't forget Urza's Saga. Oh yeah, Urza's Saga. Well, is this the best thing you can get with Urza's Saga? Seriously, like if I were my main thing I get with Urza's Saga is just Soul Ring. I think Soul Ring is better than Moxen with if you're gonna go grab something with Urza's Saga. Same reason Mana Crypt is banned. Price reasons aside, it's an auto include and it's fast mana. Lutri is the only card on the banned as companion list. Steve Cooper, it's like says it's just like playing a land. What's wrong with this guy? No, yeah, it's like a land, except it can be blown up by artifact destruction. It's a strictly worse land. There's way more artifact destruction than a land destruction. Maybe not in 2026. Maybe there's more land destruction. Fan factor: Mox should only be legal in monocolor decks to make mono red viable. Mono red is already pretty good. So that ban as multicolor commander. 0 mana rocks are broken, but so is Soul Ring. Ban them all. Christopher B. Anyone who trades in crypto belongs in a crypt. Tea House, it's worse than a land because artifacts are easy to blow up. Yeah, with Meltdown. It dies to disc. Oh, you play Navinral's Disc? It's a classic card. L Winter, if Soul Ring is fine, I think the Moxen are fine too in the format. Okay. Well, you're crazy. We already went off that like Soul Ring probably isn't fine, but it's just a relic of the format. Okay, I'm not gonna. I don't even know what they're gonna say here. I mean, these are all probably gonna be the same, right? Mox Emerald. Okay, Mox Emerald. The 5-colored Moxen were originally banned for poor optics rather than power up level. What? They originally banned it for the optics of the of expense? They don't think Mox Emerald is that powerful? That's crazy. While they're fairly powerful, it's their effect on perceived barrier to entry that really posed a problem, because casual players watching Commander games in passing could reasonably assume that they needed hundreds, now thousands of dollars in Power 9 mana as table stakes just to join the format. The Moxen were iconic and expensive cards at the time they were banned, and removing them from the card pool was intended to combat the notion that Commander is a prohibitively expensive and inaccessible format. What? I can't believe that was the explanation. I can't believe that was the explanation. Mox Emerald is banned because it's expensive, not because it's powerful. That is wild. If you still cry about Soul Ring in 2026, quit playing the game. Well, you just is Soul Ring legal in all the brackets? I actually don't know. I assume it is just because it's a staple, but I'm not 100% sure. Just ban Mox Ruby to peeve off the mono red guy. Arguably, Emerald is the worst one. Green doesn't need more mana. Yeah, the original Birds of Paradise. Well, I guess there was Birds of Paradise in the first place. Crawdaddy says it's true that specifically Mox Emerald is probably fine. Okay, well, so apparently we got a little bit of a conflict of opinions over here. Mox Emerald is probably fine because they already have a bunch of mana dorks and don't really benefit from artifacts. Yeah, but green, no, it's the opposite way around. Green has the biggest payoffs. Green has all the cards that are really expensive that that you want to ramp into, and then you're just making it easier for them. Christopher B says, you can say just proxy all you want. Most of the fan base still never will for the same reason most don't fanfic. I think most people proxy though. I mean, I wonder what the odds are, but if I did a poll on like how many people use proxies, like if you use at least one proxy in your life, I think I would guess like the number would be like 90+%. I'm guessing it would be like 90+%. I'm very, very low on proxies, but I technically have like 1 or 2 proxies. Lame explanation for the Mox bans. Bring them back and print them down to 10 cents. It's not wrong, but it's also busted for being too fast. I mean, yeah, this is clearly super powerful. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a power person, so I don't mind. I wouldn't mind if I had access to Mox Emerald, like the Moxen in Commander. I think it would be cool. But I do believe in the modern day argument that if you unban all of them, that the 5-color deck is just so overwhelmingly more powerful because they have access to more Moxen than everyone else. I don't want people to cast Rampant Growth on turn 1. You don't want them to cast Rampant Growth on turn 1, yet they this is like a Rampant Growth for free. Signal says, in Commander, Mox Emerald is the best one. In any other format, it's Mox Sapphire. The Big Squig, Mox Pearl is the best because white is always starving for ramp. Crawdaddy, right, but green already has mana coming out of its bottom, but not for free. Green's mana costs something. You pay a mana to get a mana dork. Decode, my table doesn't proxy, but we have a $25 upper limit for decks. It can't be more than $25. What is this, Pop or Commander? Violent Beetle, went to Scryfall, look at Moxen, found Mox Lotus. Jigraw, I understand the argument, but I think the free mana first turn can secure first turn wins. Better keep it banned. And T-House, I proxy for cards I don't own but plan to, and I rarely play $50+ cards personally. The Big Squig, sorry, no, not the Ghost of Thomas Jenkins. Yeah, people already have Soul Ring. You don't need this too. Bolt says Moxen being unbanned would ruin CEDH because tournaments ban proxies usually. Do they? But I don't know how much of a reason that is. Do they? I thought CEDH... No, because tournaments ban proxies. I heard of it the other way around. CEDH is a very pro-proxy format where they encourage proxies. Now, if it's a CEDH tournament, maybe in the same vicinity as like a regular convention, maybe not. If it's like with a bunch of other legitimate card games, but like I heard CEDH is a very, very, very pro proxy format because otherwise the format wouldn't exist. Drosaru says there's a bunch of extra land per turn cards in green, but still keep the green Moxen banned because it definitely does not need it. It's funny you guys are debating which are fine, which are not. I still say this is banned. It deserves to be banned in 2026. Next, Nadu. Nadu, the Winged Wisdom, the made for Commander for Modern card. The design for Commander made for Modern card that got banned in both places. 3 mana for a 3/4 bird wizard flying. Creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. This ability triggers only twice each turn. Per creature, though, which is the problem. They really screwed that up. They really screwed that up. Okay, TS is like, okay, LOL, nah, dude. Nope, shred it. The bird can migrate south and stay there. I have no experience versus Nadu in Commander. I can only imagine it's just infinitely worse to play against than in Modern, because in Modern, the players only had 60-card decks. Commander it's a 99-card deck. Decode says, how about Moxen are legal but only for monocolor decks? That's you're speaking my yeah, anyway, I agree with you. We need more monocolor. We could have monocolor Moxen. True North, what criteria make a card something that should be banned? Power level mostly. So like power level and misery level, and also well, as they put it, optics. So if a card is too expensive. Which is funny because Time Twister is perfectly legal. Doesn't seem to be stopping. I don't understand the expense part of it. Like, everyone has decided to determine how much they want to spend on this game. I say unban everything that was banned for optics, because it just does not matter anymore. It just does not matter. Most disliked card, Oot. Destroy all existing copies. Bolt says reduce it to ashes. Modern mistake, he's busted, stay banned until he gets power crept in 20 years eventually. Fan factor, it's allowed in Brawl because of the errata, and it's fine. Oh yeah, they errated the card. You can do anything you want in MTG Arena. Surefire Selves says they have explicitly stated that Nadu was a last-minute change that was never tested, and it shows. It was never supposed to be like this, but they pushed it anyways. The funny thing is, like, the original card didn't do any of this. It was just a completely different design, and they designed a card that they thought was safe. Obviously, it wasn't safe at all, and it's just screwing up the formats. I haven't hated a bird person so much since Black Wings were big. Frack the stupid bird. Has everyone played against this card? I'm just curious. Like, did everyone make Nadu Winged Wisdom decks when it was out? Decode. Nadu is super obnoxious to sit at a table with. Infinite fiddling and non-deterministic turns. That's true. Yeah, non-deterministic. They don't care if a card is too expensive. Well, apparently the Commander Rules Committee cared. According to the explanation, mocks are banned because of price. Yes, that is correct. That was a bonkers explanation. We will definitely rule against the Commander explanation. The reason it's called Nadu is because dude. Corbinek, don't just ban it, shred it, burn all copies. Okay, I think we're in agreement. Nadu is. Yeah, the biggest problem is, first off, it's a really good, strong combo, and it's non-deterministic. Like, so you have to go through the motions, and those motions take forever, and everyone else is just watching you play. It's basically like a one-card storm. Surefire Selves, yes, and it was annoying as hell. Shuko's price peaked solely because of this commander, because it had equipped 0. Also, and in how many copies were in Modern? Maybe it was only 2 copies. Okay, let's see. Let's look at the banded restrict. Let's see what their reason for Nadu was. Hopefully, it's a good reason. Okay, Nadu is an inexpensive commander in popular colors, which very easily yields an overwhelming resource advantage. Even without building around it, it leads to long, non-deterministic turns with little opportunity for fruitful interaction. Worse, it's not obviously how powerful Nadu is, and the temptation to play it quickly led to a lot of miserable games. You know what? I just realized also, it's a lot like Leovold. In that, like, if you try to kill it, like, if you target Nadu with a removal spell, well, it still triggers and gets value, right? So it's a Leovold effect, and they should be very careful and not screw around with Leovold effects. This was just a mistake. They might say that, but there's no consistency in them enforcing that value. That's true. There's no consistency. There's no consistency in anything. Okay, what's next? Okay, well, let's look at Paradox Engine. I have not played against this card at all. It's a 5-mana legendary artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control. It seems like this could be a card. Like, it's a strong card, don't get me wrong. But is it actually ban-worthy? Or was it just banned for being obnoxious? Whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land perms you control. I mean, maybe this is like a second Nadu in that the turns go long when someone goes off, but I don't see how that's any different from like a storm deck going off. Fingrinder, how did they play it in EDH? Matador Galore? I have no idea what they did. I hear it makes turns take forever, like a lot of combo decks do. Are we gonna ban combo now? A common play pattern was play Nadu, gets targeted by swords, gets protected, player draws 2 cards because Nadu is targeted twice. Ooh, that's a very, very good one. You think this is danger? I think it's just a card. It's legal in Brawl. I think the entire reason is due to having manual untap everything. Well, that's a skill issue. I mean, okay, I think There's probably some way you can shortcut it instead of like tapping all this stuff over and over and over again. Corbinick, one word Nikachu, Shrieking Drake with Paradox Engine. Okay, let's look at Shrieking Drake. Maybe you cast the spell untap. When you Shrieking Drake for a blue 1/1 flying. When Shrieking Drake enters the battlefield, return a creature you control to its owner's hand, so you can return this one. Whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land perms you control. That actually makes it easy. So I mean, that was just a 2. That's fine. That's a 2-card combo. Nothing wrong with that. We're going to ban 2-card combos here. So basically, between Paradox Engine and Shrieking Drake, if your opponent doesn't interact with it, you can just say, "I have infinite everything." You don't, and that actually reduces the amount you have to tap and untap everything. It's like, you can't interact with this. I just have infinite. I have infinite activated abilities, infinite mana, and so on. Too easy to go infinite, is it? Chisaro, I remember when Simon Nielsen won with Nadu in a Pro Tour, he was saying it was definitely getting banned. Yeah, you definitely called that. Paradox Engine is way too strong, but not too obnoxious because you can usually just give up when it's played. It's not deterministic. Well, you need every single... Neither is... A Storm deck isn't deterministic. Like, you have to play out the Storm turn to make sure that they can actually go off. They can whiff. Storm decks have some level of, I'm going to win now. Paradox easily just gets into, I spend 20 minutes playing and not winning for 3 turns in a row. They should just have a Storm card in their deck. Maybe, I don't know, are Storm decks just that consistent in Commander? In one-on-one Magic, they're not. Like, they brick. Like, it's sort of maybe annoying in one-on-one Magic and 60-card formats, because you just sit there and you have to wait. And you always have to wait because you can't concede. Like, they go ritual. I mean, if you look at their graveyard and you know that they got like enough cards drawn, Past in Flames and an actual Storm card, you could concede. But if they don't, if you know they're still on the edge of their draw, like their life depends on what they can keep drawing, then you have to wait it out. And they do brick. They do stop. Definitely better than the cat, says Andrew. Fin Grinder. Okay, maybe you should not have something say draw 4 each turn. Some people are really lagging in chat. They're still on Nadu. Why kill? Untap your mana rocks and play your mocks. You have a really long turn. Smash on sight and never stops, says Christopher B. And I untap. The Ghost of Thomas Jenkins never actually played against this, so I haven't seen how annoying it can be. This card is banned probably also because it not only makes combo decks go forever, but this goes in every combo deck that cares remotely about permanence. With it, it's still an expensive artifact. Screw the planar bridge of the Aether Spark. This is the greatest pair of artifacts that Avishkar ever produced. Fan factor, I think Sensei's Divining Top should be banned in Commander too. I try, as a Sensei's Divining Top stan, I try to be very fast with my Sensei's Divining Tops. I try to get a sense of like when it's going to be the end of the last player's turn. And I'll be like, okay, while you do this, I'm going to top and be really quick about it. Stella Lee is a bastard of a Storm commander. She goes infinite with untaps. Hate when my friend plays her. Wake me up. Yeah, wake me up before your combo. T-House, it has the primetime problem of temptation. Spoilers for the future. Everyone will want to play it. Everyone will want to copy it. Does it? Was this like one of the most popular cards to play? Like, was this an auto-include in every deck? I mean, I didn't have that in my deck. I was the one playing it, and I got annoyed. Colorless artifacts aren't expensive at all in Commander. There are so many cost reducers and colorless mana creators there. And because this is colorless, it can go in any deck. It can go in any deck, but does it go in any deck? Does everyone play with Paradox Engine? Like, the way I look at Paradox Engine, it's still like a pretty clunky card. I get it. You can hold back a 0 mana, like, I don't know, like a Mishra's Bauble or something. Play Paradox Engine, play Mishra's Bauble, untap, and do something else. But if you're playing with it fairly, like if you're putting it in any deck, then it's going to be fair. Like, you're not going to dirtle around that much. Fin Grinder, Sensei's Top, Fetches, and Terminus are just a very weird way of spelling Shahrazad. Jeff says it's strong in Commander because you can put a lot of mana rocks and mana dorks, which makes spellcasting almost free. Do banned cards tend to be rare? Yeah. They usually make the good cards rare. Decode, pretty much an auto-include in every deck that plays a decent number of mana rocks. Maybe not. Maybe by now it's power crap, but no, I'm not sure. Seems like everyone believes that it's just broken. Okay, let's see what their explanation was for this card. To me, it looks fine. Everyone thinks it's an auto-include. It does not look like an auto-include to me, but let's see what they say. Paradox Engine can be played in any deck. Okay, well, that shuts me up. And creates large amounts of mana at little to no deck building cost. Its play patterns often involve long, drawn-out turns of tapping and untapping permanents, drawing cards, and generally monopolizing the chess clock of a game. The chess clock? Who the hell is playing with a clock? Was this literally... What, is this in every CDH deck? I don't remember seeing this in every CEDH deck. It's like, it, in theory, can be played in every deck. I don't know, maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I didn't know this was like in every single deck. I think this does have a genuine chance of being turned into a game changer, but I don't know if I do it. Okay, apparently this is like too easy to play and too easy to splash. Paradox Engine is too strong for 2026. And that's it for today. Thanks everyone for the discussion. We had a lot of fun. Turns out, like, not many cards. A lot of these cards today, they're banned because they gotta stay banned. There's no way of getting them off. Too strong. They deserve to be banned. As usual, we do these shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and also Tuesdays, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for the night crowd out there. And thanks to everyone who supports the channel. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Your discussion was very, very well accepted. People like Kano, Finn Grinder, David Sampson, Steve Cooper, Decode, T House, many more. I think everyone's lagging today. We got Craw Daddy, Christopher B, Fan Factor, Surefire Selves, the Ghost of Thomas Jenkins, Little Deadfly, Decode, of course, and many more. So as usual, my coffee crew keep brewing those coffees, and we're going to keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.